So they'll be calling you a radical. So I'm finally getting people asking me after 12 years instead of telling me how to survive deadly AML leukemia. I was given 2 months to live, going on 12 years. Started getting sick 12 years ago right now. So I want to talk a little bit about that, give you an update of how the stadium's coming, and, fight back against the people that gave you cancer. That's what I've done the whole time. So my partner, Annika, an incredible Ukraine activist, feminine, I held her hand as she died from leukemia. My father, I held his hand as he died of leukemia. No cancer in our family. None. His brothers and sisters, none of them. But he got nuked in Nevada test site. Sudoku pulled in 1,000 papers coming up on the bomb. I'll do my gig out there here at the nuclear stadium, the Wallace curse. I've got the nuclear bomb, the atom bomb disease, the nuclear meltdown disease, the Fukushima fallout disease, AML. That's what killed Sudoku. So I want to talk a little bit about, I make the whole story so ironic. Jay Hill comes in here and turns this Titanic around. Jay Hill's the greatest coach in the history of this program. Big time. At least in my lifetime. Why is Jamie Martin the only one up there? It blows my mind. Jamie Martin's not even the best player on his own team. I mean, he's a great player. He's a hell of a player. But how about Alfred Pavone, Scott Shields, Roger Ruzick was all on that team. But So they're going to put a new rug in. They're going to tear it out any day. And the center's going to be the Wildcat logo. Dr. Hurst, which he's not a real doctor. That's a honorary degree. But he drew the logo. Him and, so those guys, they're going to put that logo. Who's it named after? Who Weber State, the mascot's named? A football player. His name was Wallace Morris. It was 100 years ago. Yeah. Played in the NFL. The greatest player that ever played at Weber State wasn't Weber State. It was called Weber College. Wasn't even college. It was Weber Academy. That's how old this program is. How about, they're Lee White. I've always said the greatest player in the history of this school was Trevon Smith. Look him up. Oh, he got beat to death in a jail, so they don't mention his name around here. His records will blow your mind. Not that long ago, but the greatest player ever played here now, that's Rashid Shaheed. Teron Johnson. Adam Rodriguez. Opeta. I mean, there's probably 10 of the top 25 players, maybe 15 of the top 30 players who ever played here, played on the same team. Jonah Williams, Adam Rodriguez, Josh Davis, TJ for the Bills, Rashid Shaheed. His story's so fun. And my story, I was given 2 months to live in 2012. Rashid tore his ACL right there on a game he shouldn't have been in. I talked to him before the game. You can ask his mom. Talked to her, I says, I wouldn't play, Rashid. It was a meaningless game. Weaver was out. It's hard tackle right here. I'm sitting right there. I videoed it. I knew right then. Everybody's, oh, no, it's a partial tear spine. You sure? Rashid standing right here to me at the spring game that year. No, it tore all the way through, Kev. So Rashid, the first time I saw him run right here, the great sprinter. I ran on this track, the half mile. I'm like, who the fuck is that? I told Josh Davis. And he says, oh, that's Rashid Shaheed from San Diego. I says, I know that name. All my life in San Diego, the tide pool work. I was born here on 24th and Harrison. Reborn in Pacific Beach, California. Oh boy, on Balco on chemo, given 2 months to live with AML leukemia on 11/11/11. What's Fukushima? Well, stadium named after a woman. I said, Rashid, what's your 40? He'd always say, never been clocked. I'm like, why are you always fucking with me? Come on, what's your 40? So he does this vlog down there. He didn't get drafted. This is how moron the scouts are. It wasn't because of the ACL. They were going to draft him anyway. That's up to them. If he'd have gone to the combine, That injury probably cost him $20 million. Literally. You know, and he's such a tough dude, such an honorable one. And my grandsons love him. You know, he's friends with my grandsons. He took the time after that injury to do that interview with me right there. He's on crutches. You know what? I mean, you know how devastating he had to be? You could see it in his face. And he's still, that's the kind of person he is. Still did that interview with me. You know, after that, so much excruciating pain I'm sure he was in. My battle's been painful. As you know, I had open heart surgery. I had a massive heart attack. This one, because of the cancer. My perfectly good heart. This leukemia battle, I've been through hell and back for 12 years in critical condition. Let me show you one of the routines. So I'm in a rehab program. I never thought I'd be on a diet, and they're telling me, you know, my dietitian, who no American dairy, she's got me on ice cream. She's got me on this clean protein diet. I was down to 138. She's got to get your muscle mass and your strength back. You know, so I'm a mall walker. Oh, fuck. And so the only oncologist that my doctor, the only one that I really like, I mean, because my cardiologist, that dude almost killed me. Dr. Goff, who saved my life. I love that guy. You know, my uncle Thomas Blanch trained him. Dr. Goff. Boy, you're right, Kev. That valve was all gummed up, whatever. It was never right. Almost killed me. They wouldn't listen to me. Blew up. He had to actually build with human cadaver an Eric root in my heart. He had to cut an artery. I'll tell you how brilliant his mind is. When I was in there, Kev, I saw the dots on you from the radiation. That's why I harvested the one in the leg. And I remember your uncle, you know, the pseudo de facto. You know, I remember where his heart blew up, the exact same spot as yours. So I just bypassed it. I wasn't going to try to rebuild it. It was a mess. I couldn't get the one open. I had to sew it shut. I fixed you. How you're alive is beyond me. How Rashid Shaheed is doing what he's doing. Well, I always knew what he was. He's the greatest player in the history of this school. I'd say 15 of the top players in the history of this school play for Jay Hill on the same team. Adam Rodriguez is the best defensive player I ever saw here. Saying a lot, Scott Shields. How is he the only one? Where's Charlotte Smith? So I want to show some of the people, get a look at how the stadium's coming. Sure looks like a lot of concrete and a lot of work. It don't look much difference to me. You know, why didn't they just use what they had and remodel it? Have money, we'll spend, you know, but they're green. They're going to tear this. Bro, this rug's horrible. You want to get some rug burns? This thing is bad. They were going to put, it was going to be purple. So they're going to put the logo in there, the Wildcat. Named it Wildcat Morris, a football player. Who? What? That was 100 years ago. Oh, well, we just respect them. So I'll show you one of my routines. I'm getting better at it, as you know. I did 60 push-ups right over there on my 60th birthday. No, me and my grandsons. Those little dudes. Oh my God, they're beasts, man. You should see them now. I mean, and they look up to Rashid, boy. Rashid's been the best role model those kids could ever have. You know, because he was friends with him. He always talked to him. You know, and they've seen him overcome. You know, so I have that Weber State, Pete Rozelle football I've saved for all those years. I've only had 2 players sign it in the history of this program. I've had it the whole time. I had Rashid and Josh Davis. So let's see if I can do this. I want to show you one of my routines that I'm going through. I'm 63 years old. Don't forget this. We'll get the push-ups back. I got a pacemaker now. Now how do you die? Dylan Jones. The only person that gave me any love, of course, the basketball players, and Clowkey. Clowkey called it out on the radio. Our great old play-by-play for the radio station, and our great professor, our great Kevin Blanch, is fighting for his life in the hospital in the game. You know, we're all thinking of Dylan Jones, all the best, walk right up to him. Kev, we all pray for you. You know, it means a lot. We're all athletes. Let's take this can. Do it out here on the field. It's not as species as it looks. Kick your ass. Shit. So, the only reason I'm not in the tide pools right now, we're going to get a pretty good full moon in the next few days. I still might go. But the only daughter I rode, Diana, on a college, went to high school with her. She's like, Kevin. She's like, she had a long talk with me. She says, you're not your same old self. You're pretty depressed. I said, yeah, what do you think? Everything I've been through, all the work I do, I get no credit. My historic type, everything that I do. I'm telling my oncologist, right to his face, the guy I'm paying, Claude, I'm telling him to his face, my valve's shooting through my arm. I come from a family of doctors, heart surgeons. It's shooting, it's in my valve, I can tell it's my heart. No, it's not, it's neuropathy. You know, one of the football coaches, team doctors here, was one of my doctors. He blew it, he got it wrong over and over and over. I'm telling him all, no, it's pain in my chest, it's shooting down my arm, I'm fading away. I weigh 138 pounds, I'm dying. Oh, it's neuropathy, Rob. And they won't do anything, they wait till it blows up, and now I have a pacemaker? Yeah, you think I'm a little precious? Listen, Kevin. This that you went through was so catastrophic. What you've been through is 4 years, but this is acute, that was massive, it was incredible. I don't know how you're alive. You got to give it a little more time. You know, this routine, this mall walking you do every day, this food, you know, goody two-shoe. I had 2 beers the other day and freaking just fell over. So I've been so goody two-shoe. So on this clean protein diet, which is expensive, I've gained almost 30 pounds of muscle back. I mean, even my grandson's like, oh, look at you. Look at that muscle coming back. I'm getting there. I still got a ways. She says, you got to give more time. She says, it's only been 5 months. She says, you need to slow your ass down as far as, you know, thinking tide pool and all this work all over the world. You've got to give this more time and stay in there. You know, and hang in there. I know it's depressing. I know it's hardcore. I know you don't have any money. I know it's been brutal. But, you know, stay on course what you're doing. You got to give it a little more time. You know, like Rashid. Looking at Achilles right there. Should have never even been in that. This program, when they got the death sentence, I worked for Bruce Hamlin, the #1 school business in the United States. I didn't think I'd still be here. I planned on teaching at the University of Vienna, but I got AML leukemia in 2012. Spent all those years in the bone marrow transplant center. I was given 2 months to live, 12 years. I've had open heart surgery twice on my perfectly good heart. I lost my gallbladder, rupture, almost killed. Lost no insurance, no backing, no nothing. I've taken the high road. You know, like Rashid. What happened to him? This turnaround, the deal was when they got the death penalty, they clean house. They got the death penalty, you know, they peeled it. And NCAA says, okay, this team was so bad. These coaches that came before him were so horrific. I mean, these were the worst coaches in college football history. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I talked to Jay Hill and I said, you really going to come around this? Look how corrupt. Trading sex for test taking. Money missing everywhere, bleeding for years and years. Bruce Hamlin was with the program to kill it. I worked for him then. Bleeding so much money missing everywhere, clear back. Then that's when they were winning. Then it just progressively got worse. I was on the committee. We were going to turn this into men's soccer. I told Jay Hill, I call it a snowball's chance. You know, I really believe it's the greatest turnaround of any sport program in the history of the country. There's no way you're going to turn this type. You know, sitting there with my grandson, he used to run down on the field. TJ himself's got to pick him up, holding the cheerleaders just watching. It's like the Mud Dogs. I mean, the cheerleaders are athletes, but it was bad football, corrupt football. It was terrible. Some of those guys that were supposed to be clean house are still involved here. How? The NCAA says clean house. Oh, they didn't. You know, thank God Jay Hill came in here. And he was his own man. He wouldn't listen to that bullshit. Get away. You know, he did it his way. I mean, that first year, remember, as TJ evolved, they were in his throat to him. When the defense was on the field, Adam Rodriguez, Jonah Williams, TJ, the team went the other way. I never seen anything like it. Local players, Rashid Shaheed, the first time I ever signed play. Now, I was down there at Berkeley. I did the play-by-play up in the booth at the old stadium in San Diego, my favorite stadium in the world. They tore down. 6-0, 6-0. Neither team could do anything that defense. I said, they're one play away from Rashid. We were winning. Right as I said that, on his 18th birthday, to the house, Rashid, I says, he's gone to Tijuana. Phantom flag. Of course, we have Abraham Williams here now. We call him Rashid who? You know, I named Rashid Lightning. I used to just simply call him Rocket. I screamed and screamed at NFL scouts here constantly, and they are morons, just like the NBA scouts. You don't believe me? Ask Jerry Carter. Ask Rashid Shaheed. They're morons. And how do you not see? I knew what this guy was from the beginning. I think there's 6 players in the NFL off that team right now. You know, I think half of them didn't get drafted. What about, you know, Cooper Kupp played in the Big Sky. So, that routine's hard, man. You should try that. Try it. What a turnaround. Write a book. I'm going to write a book. This is part of it. A snowball's chance in Hill. This ain't easy. Kevin Blanch, the marine biologist in the high desert of Utah. Fighting cancer, that's where I came up with the soup can flipping. Fighting cancer is so dynamic. That's when I come up with this soup can. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. It ain't easy. Mike Lee kicked me out Medicaid. I've done this with no money, in critical condition. I was a millionaire when I got sick. My uncle says, you have all that stock, all that Tesla stock, IPO, all that Apple stock? Yeah, sitting watching. Yeah, fork it over. Let me get you to see Fimbo Peterson. LCI says, I'm going to Mayo Clinic with that money. You're going to East State. So, like, I said, that shithole? It's under construction. I said, been under construction since I was a kid. No, there's a guy that took it over. And Fimbo Peterson helped me. He's been the man for me. Respect's earned. Respect's earned. I grew up respecting those guys because I watched them, you know. Thank you, Dr. Goff, for saving my life. We can Vincent Hansen, Fimbo Peterson. I'm not Rashid. Rashid's a miracle. Ripped that ACL in half. He would have went to the combine. The combine was in his home, San Diego, my home. All them years of doing that tide pool work right there, while he's playing in high school there, Carmel, you know, I'm sleeping on the beach, you know, doing the tide pool work, doing the sending off for shutdown work, sending off for a kid. I used to call him just the Rocket. Get the ball, he never had a quarterback kick the ball to him, never. Jay Constantine was not a thrower. I mean, Cantwell, I love that kid, but he wasn't a big arm his freshman year. But then Bronson, who left, went to Western Kentucky, but the Hilltoppers, he was in the booth. His last year, big arm, they started to hook up, and of course Rashid's running back kickoffs. So I changed his name to Lightning. He returns the kickoff down at the University of Utah, and Lightning hit the booth. For real. They had to delay the game over an hour. Probably Winningham was shitting down both legs. You know, gave him a chance to regroup, but I think they'd have beat him. Look what Jay Hill did to Utah State last year. Dismantled them. So I changed his name to Lightning. I said, you caused a fucking lightning storm. I have that first Rashid jersey. And no, I didn't go buy one of his new slave-made ones. I'm not into that scene. I'll sell my own freaking lightning bolt on the top of it. It's a 22 old beauty that I got from a thrift store girl. It's an old game-worn Saints uniform. A woman I know who's a thrifter in the new Bob Hayes. Bob Hayes is my favorite player. By the way, Bob Hayes, if he ran on a decent track like this, had decent shoes, he'd still hold the world's record. He won a Super Bowl ring and a gold medal. Bullet, the fastest man ever. Oh yeah, he still this day. Out of the one hole, he sets the world record on that shitty ass track in those shitty ass shoes. Getting a new track. I'll tell you a good story about the track too while I'm here. So Coach Peterson, who's God, he's almost 100. I think he's still alive. Told me, Kev, one day, you know, we got the first asphalt track. I said, no. He says, Weaver State developed a program. We got swallows right now. I can show you the net. Shh, don't tell anybody there's some swallows nesting here. So, I think they got babies in the stadium. Shh, don't tell them. So, Weaver State, when they had the great technology department, they developed this way to recycle tires. And the community brought in tires, and he did it, and they shredded it up and built the first asphalt track here. They're going to tear it up. We're going to get a new track. We need one. So, I call Abraham Williams Thunder, because what comes after lightning? You know, I'm the guy that's been calling him Rashid who? We'll think Rashid. Carter Rashid. That's what we're going to hear this year. So, I called a snowball's chance in Hill. I hated to see Jade leave, but I understand. You know, money talks, and he's from down there. And he poached off a few. But this team's loaded this year. It'll be fun. It's a great product. You know, and everybody's run down, spend your $300 at the University of Utah. We'll spend our 9 or 12 here. Sit up there where the real fans sit, where I've been sitting for 60 years. And watch it. So I wanted to show how'd you survive cancer, fighting back against the assholes that gave it to me. As you know, I travel all over the world. I fight for her, she fights for me. We from the sea. Kevin D. Work harder. I've been working on it. I've been working hard in a rehab, like Rashid did, to get that ACL back. So glad he got an opportunity. First touch. Al Michael, Sunday Night Football. Who is this guy? 2 touches. His first one's a touchdown on the same play that he ripped the ACL. Shit. Is it still running? I think. See, the battery got hot. Stay tuned.